We're at the part that's a lot like the beginning, but it's the end.
Yeah. All right.
Hello and welcome to Belonging Songs. It's the podcast that brings you a brand new original song with each episode. We talk about the making of that song. I am your host, Wade Dana. With me down in the studio today, Brad Maurer,
What's up?
Chad Culton,
Hello.
and the image of Patrick Crane.
Transmitting live from Mars.
Yes.
I'm just the Max Headroom of Belonging Songs today.
Yeah, which is why Brad was explaining to Patrick where we were in the theme song. Because he wasn't listening to it, but we were. So that makes sense to everyone. Yeah, welcome back. We are here today to talk about another one of our instrumental songs from back in the day from me and Chad. And this one is called Trantasy.
What's your favorite name?
The dumbest name of probably any song that we have. I've always hated it. Okay, well, hit us. Hit us, Patrick. What do you got? What's worse?
I'm gonna have to go. Let me go through the playlist. Actually, I'll get back with you in a few
What?
minutes.
Why? What's the?
It just sounds stupid, doesn't it?
I mean, what? How did it get come up with? Because I'm guessing you.
Thanks for asking.
Yes.
Yeah. Why? Why'd you say that?
Because you are always insisting on naming things. Am I wrong?
I know
Chad?
exactly.
No, not really.
I remember exactly why this is called that, and it does have a story behind it. So at this point, when we were writing this song, we were out of my mom's basement. We were in our practice house. I remember one of our friends was living there, not us. We didn't have control of it. We were just practicing over there.
Mm-hmm.
And our friend Dwayne, he was playing a new Final Fantasy video game while we were practicing.
Mm-hmm.
It had just come out. I don't remember which one it was. It was like PS2. And I remember specifically sitting there and Chad and I working on this song and deciding we were going to call it Trantasy because he was playing Final Fantasy.
Yeah, with the story, maybe it's the dumbest song title.
Right? Yeah, I know.
See?
Couldn't come up with anything else.
And we, have
No,
the
now
power
we're in
to
the clear.
change
I
it.
think that's it.
We could totally change it, but at this point, no, that's what it
It
is.
is what it is.
So dumb name, hopefully a better song.
Mm.
And it does have like a, I don't know, more ethereal, spacey type of
I'm not
sound
looking
to
at it. Is it TR?
Yeah.
Trantasy?
Yeah. What else would it
Mhm.
be? How else would you start to
Like-
Trant?
Tarantasy?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like a tarantula.
Torrent?
Yeah.
Current?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Can you do it with a C like with Czar?
Crantasy.
Trantasy. Brian Trantasy.
Okay.
We were playing Final Fantasy, watching Malcolm in the Middle.
We have Brian Trantasy.
I guess depending on the night, it could have been named a lot of different things
Yeah.
Yeah, so
over there.
like we've always mentioned, like a lot of these titles don't really mean anything.
No.
It's just something to remember the song by, but I guess there was a story behind that one. And then it stuck. And it's still here. Now I'm going to have to type it out as the title of this episode.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to look at it and be like, oh, that's stupid.
Skip.
Anything you want to say about this song, Chad, before we listen to it here?
All of these definitely tie back to a different stage or a different time, depending on where we were. This was pretty productive. This was just before Todd pretty much came into the picture. So, yeah.
Yeah. One thing about this song is it ties really well into another song, like ends and another song begins. And we used to play it like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the next song I want to target to record, which is called Blind Bike Rider. I think we mentioned it in a previous episode. So when that song is done, at the end of that episode, I'll probably do the whole this song transitions into that one type of thing, just so listeners can hear that. Or if we ever put them out in an album form, that's how it would go. What?
Nothing. Never mind.
All right.
I like the title Blind Bike Rider.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'll give you that one.
That's a better song,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Out of all of our old instrumental songs, this was my probably least favorite.
So you just
Next-
hate it all around.
Right.
Next to Green Man,
Oh, you didn't? Okay, yeah. Those two were kind of like.
they're on the bottom end.
But I really liked how Green Man turned out.
It turned
and
out good.
I can tell you that I really like how this one turned out too.
Mhm.
So it made me like the song more now that it's finished and
Finished.
recorded
Oh,
well.
I'm sure it sounds way better.
So I finished mixing this last night because I knew we were getting together today. Yeah, just over the past couple nights I've mixed it, and this past week recorded all my guitar parts for it. So we recorded this I sent Chad a demo, he came over, we laid drums down, Matt came over, put his bass down, and then I re-recorded my guitar and then added like 2 other guitars you'll hear in the mix on the left and the right, just to fill things out, like we've mentioned with a lot of these. Now that we are recording them, multi-track recording them the proper way, I like to fill out the arrangement the best I can. And then once we get into that second batch of songs, we'll have Todd hopefully do his parts if he wants to, and that will fill it out even more. And he does have parts for all these songs when we played, but like we had mentioned, this first set of songs was written just Chad and I in, a bass, so... I'd say we give this list, and then we'll talk about it a little more, and then we'll get out of here.
I'm waiting.
Trantasy.
Trantasy.
You remember your hand signals?
Yep. All right. I'm good.
All right. Okay.
I'm a fan.
Okay.
All right. Good job, guys. See you next week.
Yep.
All right. Thanks. Thanks for showing up. Patrick's coming at us from work, by the way. This guy's committed to this show.
I hope you had it loud enough for people to hear in the hallway.
I do. Just me and the ghosts here today.
He has patients dying in the other room, but he's here to do this podcast for us.
Yeah, I slapped a paper towel on there with a.
Yeah, they're sitting nude on that like white paper. Just crinkle it a little bit.
So this is what doctors do when we're waiting in the offices. Yeah, anybody want to give their thoughts on that? How about Chad, since he's most connected to this song?
No, I think it turned out really good. It does sound good. I like the dynamics after the first half. You know, where it picked up, you put extra harmonies in there with some of those guitars and whatnot. Bass line was good. Thank you, Matt. I'm sure you kind of helped him with that too. And I like what you did with the bass there. It's a little different than when we've played it live in the past. So
It's
that's
been
good.
so long since we have played this, and
Yeah.
Matt has played it. So like when he comes in to record the bass, it's kind of like us
New.
figuring out the bass part and laying it down.
Right.
And the extra guitars I put in really aren't doing much new. I play like pretty much am playing the same parts that the main guitar is, but it's more to
They
just fill it
thicken.
out, or I add different textures with distortion or chorus or whatever. But a little bit of kind of playing a bit
Some
of rhythm and
strum.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, some strum with it.
But yeah, I like how it turned out quite a bit. I
Mhm.
think it filled out nicely. It was one of the songs that kind of always sounded a little thin to me when we
Yeah.
played, because I think it was missing a lot of that.
I could
extra
I could see how
instrumentation.
that could be the case with just playing that lead part
Yeah, it would have been just one.
with the bass.
Guitar, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
that it could
Yeah,
sound it could sound real
It could have
thin.
gotten droning.
Yeah, so I think it came out great. Like
Cool.
I don't have the references you guys have to compare it to, so
Right.
as like a early listen, like first listen kind of a experience, there's nothing wrong with that song at all. Like I don't think there's anything to not like about it, other than a stupid
Yeah.
name.
I'm going to propose a new name. We're going to call it Circus Music for Vampires.
Right.
Yeah, I think when
It
we
did
go ahead, Patrick.
That's what
I
it
was just
sounds
gonna
like,
say,
actually. Though you kind of
It,
nailed
it
it.
does. It sounds like a calliope a little bit.
Mhm.
It fit right in like Mr. Bungle
Okay.
instrumental with kind of those circus. That's not an insult either.
Or
That's
or just a really good like score, right? I could see.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
I had a lot of images in my head from it. Like
Well,
it's
right.
kinda-
yeah,
just-
circus
just
at
vibing.
night is what I had. Like everything's closed. There's maybe a couple people walking around and animals. It's
Mhm.
very visual. I was really surprised by the traditional structure of this song. Actually, when you usually come at me with an old instrumental, I'm expecting a little more avant-garde composition.
Yeah.
But this is very traditional and works really well.
If Wade's coming at you with "I don't like it," it means because it's two verse, chorus,
Yeah,
verse.
maybe that's the
Right,
reason I
right.
didn't
exactly what it
care
is.
for it as much
Yeah.
as some of
Yeah.
the other ones.
It's not as fun to play, probably for you.
Yeah, and when we did play this, it would be one where I kind of had like a chorusy, flangey effect on it, and that was
To try to
kind
Yeah.
of all I
something-
did,
yeah,
really.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I ever used
down in
distortion.
a distortion. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was expecting where the waveform spikes like at
kind of halfway
I don't
through
know, I
there.
think it's halfway through. I was expecting, okay, here comes double tempo.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here
like,
comes the part
no,
they used to
it's-
argue about all the time.
Right,
Right.
exactly. Exactly.
No, I think this is one of the ones where I was able to just kind of put up a click track and
We did use a
record
click
to.
track for this.
Just go.
There are
Yeah, it's
it's
one
like
tempo.
the same tempo, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is rare for these older songs for sure.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
time. I'm a fan.
Cool, yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna
I like it a lot.
Turned out good. I do like the bass, and what I notice with these songs sometimes is because I'm just like disassociated from them,
Mhm.
like I
right.
don't have anything to do with them, is the mixing sounds so good.
Okay.
But then it's the same as the mixing as the ones I'm associated with.
Right.
It's just there's no critique coming out of me because I'm not involved.
Yeah,
you know what I
haven't
mean?
Heard it 1,000 times another way.
Yeah,
or something
exactly
like
right.
that.
So like it gives me a lot of respect for your mixing, and you do a good job.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I did send this one since I've just finished it. I sent it into the Pure Mix website. I usually get a little bit of feedback. There's like one or two people on staff there who will like listen to your songs and give you feedback. And my feedback's been getting better and better as I've been doing this, to where it's like these little tweaks that I make, and I'll probably make to this one once I get that. But usually I don't think most people would really even notice.
The drums always, there's a range of, if you listen back like through the mixes, what the drums sound like.
Mm-hmm.
Honing that in is like the most difficult part, I think, of recording.
Yeah,
And
it is.
They sound really good. I think you're dialing that in really well.
I've got a process for drums if we want to get technical a little bit.
He pushed a button. He pushed a button.
It's a drop.
Yeah. Beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop boop. He pushed a button. He pushed a button. Yeah. He pushed a button. He pushed a button. Yeah.
Once Chad lays his drums down, which has taken us a while to dial in, the sounds of, we've got them pretty well mapped out. I know which microphones I like to use now after some trial and error, how we like to set them up. And I've got my board basically channels dedicated to drums that, have a little bit of EQ on them. I figured out the phase relationship between microphones, and that's all set on the board. So for the most part, when we have one of these songs, Chad just comes in and it's ready to go,
Yeah.
We just record a little sample to make sure nothing's
Levels are
shifted
good,
majorly, or
flipping.
the levels are good. Because I do work there and I bump faders and stuff.
Is
time to
it
time.
is it different with other songs, or is it primarily the same? Like that's the sound that you always have for
That's
drums,
pretty
and
much
you never
the
really
sound.
mess with it.
Now this song, we did use my cymbals. Chad usually brings his snare, his cymbals, and floor tom, but I actually got a floor tom now, so he doesn't have to bring his floor tom. I'm trying to slowly get all the elements of the kit so he doesn't have to travel, or somebody doesn't have
Just
to
need
travel.
a man with sticks.
Chad has a lot nicer cymbals, which are the ones we usually use on all our recordings, but this one, he didn't bring them over that day, and we just used mine, which turned out fine. And I
They're
want to
just
make
different.
sure that when we do Blind Bike Rider that we
Use those
just
again.
use those, because those songs are going to
Blend in
flow
together.
into each other, yeah. So once Chad comes in, we lay down the drums, and then we usually do a few takes. By the end of the night, we pretty much know which take we want as the base of the track. Like Chad's like that.
BASE.
That last one's probably the one we're gonna use as the foundation. So I'll listen to that, and if I hear anything where I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I like that, I'll listen through the other takes
Do a little
in that
comping.
section, do a little comping. I just listen by ear on a lot of these. This one we have the click track, so I can see right on the grid if we're getting out of time, and usually Chad's right on. And if there's little fluctuations, I don't really want to edit those unless it's something I can hear egregiously, where I'm like, oh,
Or
we
it
sped
makes
up.
you stumble.
Yeah, let's go in there and edit that a bit. But once I get all the editing done, I consolidate the tracks, any edits that were made in Pro Tools, and so it's all one waveform. And then I will trigger the kick, the snare, and all the toms. And that means I use a program that detects the peaks in the waveform, and I can create a MIDI file of, say, all the kick drums. So anywhere there's a kick, I get a MIDI note generator. So I can then put that into Addictive Drums and trigger one of the kicks in there to reinforce the one that we've recorded.
And then that's like a secondary sound.
Yes.
Right?
And it's mixed in.
Behind the other one.
And I've gone in and listened to all the samples in there and picked the one that most closely resembles the kick of the kit that's in here.
Yeah.
So then I
selected at the peak of ripeness by Wade.
Yeah. So those get reinforced with those. So I blend those sampled kicks in with our recorded signal to beef it up. And
I would have never heard that without you saying that. That's a clever little studio trick.
Yeah, and then you can add, I can process them differently if I need to. Like, I can add reverb to the sampled and leave the recorded
you might
version
do on a
dry and
snare or
stuff.
something, right?
So specifically with the toms, what I like to do once they are all recorded and I've got them triggered, I edit out all the bleed from the tom mics, because that's 3 extra mics in the drum signal that aren't doing really anything for most of the song, except just creating some
occasional hit
noise
and grabbing grabbing.
For the most part, there's these extra microphones that are pointed in different directions, which causes like phase issues and just muddying up of the signal. So I like to cut those out and edit them so you only hear the hit of the tom. And then with that reinforced with a triggered one, you get a nice solid sound. And then I can put reverb like just on one of them.
Chad, how does it feel to be such a pain in the ass in post-production?
Yeah,
I'm okay
it
with
really
it.
is.
Yeah.
So then obviously you have to listen to where the overhead, if I listen to just the overhead drum signals, I have to listen to where the toms are hitting, in the stereo field, and then position the ones that we've recorded separately in those same spots.
Nice.
Yeah, so the drums, it's a process. Usually takes me a few nights to get through all that.
It's kind of like setting up live too. Drummers just suck. He's real comfortable with it. He's real comfortable with being the pain in the ass.
Yeah, everybody carries their shit in once, and then it's like, well, I guess we got to go.
I guess we
help
got to go
Chad.
get all 40 stands that are left in the trunk here.
But usually live, I'll take care of my own sound.
You do, yeah. The
Fucking
sound,
wing nuts everywhere.
yeah. Always that little piece of felt missing.
Does anybody have a drum
Yeah.
key?
Yeah.
No,
Fucking
we're not the drummers.
What are you talking about?
That is a popular one.
Fucking Chad.
Yeah, to so much so, I think I bought a bunch at one point just to have, put one in my guitar case. and
Everywhere.
have one over here, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
See
I
if you
have
can lose them as
I
much
have
as a
dozen.
drill chuck.
Yep.
Pretty much.
That's cool, man. That's awesome. Yeah, that song came out very well.
Thanks.
Sounded good.
It does sound
Yeah,
good.
happy to have it done. Like I said, we're getting down to it. We've got one more song in this first era, and then the big, what we call the show, which is like a 20-minute piece comprised of 3 songs in connective tissue, but it was always played as, we could play the song separately, but if we're going to record them, we're going to do the show. So we got those 2 elements, and then the whole entirety of the collection one of I-Minya songs would
Drums are going to take 18 years.
Yeah, that'll take forever.
Chad.
But yeah, that's like 30 years in the making. We're almost getting
Yeah.
this first batch of songs
up.
recorded for the first time. So it's pretty cool. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
So looking forward to doing more. You can hear these songs on our Spotify playlist, link in the episode description. All the songs from all the seasons in that playlist. It's like over 6.5 hours at this point, so check that out and spread it around.
Yeah, if you're looking to avoid your family at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, put that on. One of the big jokes used to be when we played when we were younger with this band is that most people would leave when we started playing. I don't think because they thought it was bad, but I think it was just so loud. We would play in barns and garages, and it would be so loud. Even now when we play, it surprises us when we go somewhere.
We're too loud.
We played the 3 of us and our friend Matt. We played at a all-day party festival of
At
somebody
an Aldi?
Chad knew.
Is that where you got the pizza rolls?
No.
And it was like a whole day of bands, but we got up there and just blew everybody out with the volume.
You guys want to mic your stuff up?
We're like,
mic
no,
your
we're
stuff?
good.
What are you talking about?
They pretty much
we
don't
let us
do
play
that.
the whole time without using
The sound.
any of our
Oh,
sound
sound
in the
man.
PA.
The poor sound guy
it
had
was
no
all
idea
just
what to
coming
do.
out of the
No, it was
amps.
messy.
But to us, we didn't even. We're like, what?
This is how we practice.
I'm on 2.
Yeah, my
Like,
amp's on 2.
My amp's on 2, and you can't turn Chad down. So how are you gonna pull this off, buddy?
Yeah, and Matt's up there. He goes, "What? I thought this was a rock and roll show."
That sounds like something fucking Paul Staley would say.
Yeah.
But it's not. He's not wrong. I mean, that's how we always
Yeah.
play. But so we probably are a little too loud.
And deaf.
Yeah.
They loved it. Don't get it.
Yeah, but they were all
wrong. They loved
outside
it.
of
They
the
had to
area.
stand
Yeah,
100
anybody
yards
that was
away.
in the barn
It's
had to
probably
leave.
the same, you guys were playing house parties or barn parties, and
Oh, yeah.
people want to communicate.
Yeah, you
Oh.
can't.
They can't.
Of course, I had way smaller amps back then, so couldn't even get as loud.
Stupid Laney.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Laney.
Yeah, so everybody would go outside except for our buddy Chris would be right up there woo! You're probably deaf now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I want to sit on the head.
Right. All right, well, I think we are good
That's
on
sweet.
this. Yeah,
Good job.
this wraps up the songs we have in the works right now. I do have a bunch of instrumental Thin Pleasure songs done, and we're getting together on a Saturday right now during the day because busy later tonight, and I never, ever have plans on Saturday, usually. And then we had something pop up, and then Mike and Chris got a hold of me the other day, like, hey, do you want to get together and just hang out Saturday? I was like, damn it.
Everything.
It's like we could
Everything,
jam or
yeah.
just hang out. So I am going to try and get together with those guys, and when we do, I've got 6 or 7 songs done that we can do episodes on. I'll probably do, a couple songs each episode, but for that Thin Pleasures project, which are also instrumentals. And that'll be fun, but hopefully I do have some ideas for songs. Hopefully something will strike. Hopefully Brad will mine one here from the depths.
I've got 2 voice recording tracks.
That doesn't mean anything.
I know.
our big-
but they're decent.
Okay.
Our big problem with Brad right now is we are getting like Southern California weather
Right.
in Michigan in
Yeah.
November, and Brad's creative juices don't flow until the
First snowfall.
mercury dips below like
That's
15.
a fact. That's a fact.
Well, maybe we'll have to give those a listen here and
All right.
get you motivated. We'll tell you how awesome they sound.
Yeah, and I'll be, ooh,
Yeah, we'll
better.
finish those. Okay, listeners.
doubt it.
Hopefully we'll be back with something for you at some point. Until then, take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.
That's good.
He pushed the button. He pushed the button. Yeah. He pushed the button. He pushed the button. Yeah.
That's good. Boom, done. Next.